The man in cuffs is a serial scammer, Rick Dugo. He won't target you anytime soon after messing with the wrong man. That man, a victim who lost thousands, didn't just complain.
Now he sought justice. The technology salesman talks exclusively with CBS 2 investigator Dorothy Tucker and shows her how he went undercover to catch a con man.
The first couple weeks, I didn't eat, I didn't sleep. I lost like 15 pounds.
All because of Rick Dugo. Albin accuses his one-time friend of conning him out of $18,000 cash.
It was a deal for electronics.
An amazing deal. Buy 95 iPhones at a deep discount, resell them for a huge profit.
Bada bing, bada boom, easy peasy, no big deal.
But it was a bad deal. There were no phones.
I'm not a guy that gets conned. I think I'm a pretty smart, intelligent, just like every other victim.
But Albin did something other victims would probably never do.
I created the spoof page.
He set out to catch the con man.
This is pretty ingenious.
Not bad.
It was nothing fancy, just Dugo's face and name. But the message Albin posted on Lake County Facebook groups, damning.
I would say, hi, my name's Rick Dugo. I'm a con artist. If I promised anybody any money, please reach out to this email. I had a list of 17 victims.
In 1 week?
In 1 week.
Here's the list. Names, contacts, scams, like investing in Rolexes, car washes, property. The losses, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I would talk to one victim.
That's what I lost, $700,000.
One victim would lead me to another victim.
This person takes advantage of that goodness in people. He's like this predator.
It was call after call after call.
Just all lies that he tells over and over again.
At one point, Albin shared the list with CBS 2 investigators.
He owned a car wash.
We talked to them and more.
What made you devote so much time to bringing down Ricky Dugo?
One of the biggest reasons was the embarrassment that I felt. My own embarrassment for going in, for trusting, for believing.
Yo, what's up?
Then there was the video.
Just for my own proof.
To capture the con man on camera confessing to the crime.
You owe me $18,000 and I took it out of my kids, you know, their savings.
It was a 13-minute heated exchange.
No, you know what? I'm not going to let you finish because you
well, you're not going to talk to me like I'm a piece of
Eventually,
Adam, you hooked me up. I owe you money. I'm going to get it back to you.
Albin never got his money back. He knew he wouldn't.
That was some bull.
Video, emails, victims list. If this wasn't impressive enough, Albin also had these.
I had all my text messages, meticulous text messages.
Hundreds.
Everything that I had sent to Rick about our deal was notated. It was this amount of money for this amount of iPhones.
June 2018, Albin was finally ready to talk to Lake County prosecutors.
This is a prosecutor's dream.
CBS 2 legal analyst Irv Miller is a former prosecutor in the Cook County State's Attorney's Office.
When you have text messages, emails, multiple witnesses, multiple victims, it's not one piece of evidence, it's a chunk of stuff that we can prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt and let this guy pay the price.
Miller praises Albin not only for gathering the evidence, but for his bravery, what he was willing to do in this parking lot. It was here in Vernon Hills, outside Lifetime Fitness, that Albin surprised Dugo. It looked like he was alone, but he wasn't. Surrounding him in this lot, 14 Lake County sheriff's officers sitting in their own private cars. Just like on TV, Albin wore a wire taped to his chest under his shirt.
Rick is wondering, he's pushing me, how did you find me? And then he proceeds to threaten me. He wants to go around back and fight. He'll even let me throw the first punch.
But 20 minutes later, he got the goods.
He says, I know I have your money. I know what I owe you. I'm gonna start paying it back.
And that's the best piece of evidence you could get, words out of a defendant's mouth at the time that the crime is occurring. Kind of hard to defend against that.
The defendant was charged with 12 felonies. 4 victims, including Albin, claimed they were conned out of nearly $1 million.
They recognized that this was a very, very serious con artist and scammer, one that had been living in our backyard, one that nobody had been able to take down.
Until now. Until Dugo messed with the wrong man.
What is this?
Yeah, this is the Dugo file.
Simple, just a handwritten cover and pages of pain.
Background information about what I thought he had stolen, how many people I had talked to.
And he talked to a lot.
I've had conversations with over 100 people who've been conned by Rick Dugo. We're talking millions of dollars.
Here's the camera, so unless you tell him to go away, I'm going in.
August 2021, we tried to talk to Dugo.
It's a lie, but that's why.
What do you mean it's a lie? To give him a chance to respond to his accusers. It wasn't until last December Dugo finally went to court. Albin's case was up first.
I got to face him.
Raising his right hand, he swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, about his once trusted friend.
For me to have my opportunity to say what I wanted to say was always the goal, and I was able to do that.
Sitting across the courtroom, a brooding Rick Dugo. Not only forced to hear the testimony, but plastered across a 6-foot screen text messages, incriminating evidence beyond a reasonable doubt.
I got to gain my closure.
The 3-day trial ended as Albin had hoped.
It was 4.5 years from the time that I was conned to the time that he was found guilty. That's a long time. To feel bad, to feel embarrassed, to feel ashamed.
The judge not only convicted Dugo, he sent him straight to jail.
I cried my tears to my family. In the end, I have my closure.
A few weeks later, a thinner, grayer Dugo stood before the judge, accepting a plea deal. 8 years in prison for Albin's case and one other.
I have my result. I have my guilty verdict. Nobody can take that away from me.
Dorothy Tucker, CBS 2 Investigators.
In addition to the 8-year sentence, a judge also ordered Dugo to pay back $145,000.